Welcome to Get Ripped Collectibles.
I am going to start with number one. I believe that the Washington Huskies are going to be number one in the Pac-12 when it's all said and done at 11-1. And Southern Cal is going to be 11-1 at number two. We got Michael Penix Jr. as the quarterback for the Washington Huskies. I think it's going to be their year. I honestly believe that Southern Cal's got a little bit tougher schedule. You know, they got to play Notre Dame. So I think they're going to be a little bit more beat up, got a tougher schedule, and I think Washington is going to come out on top in this one. I see the Utah Utes coming in at number 3 at 10-2. Now, if Cameron Rising doesn't get in by the second game, it could get a little dicey for him. It still might be dicey in that first week. I don't know for sure, but we'll see. Number 4, I've got the Oregon Ducks and my favorite quarterback, Bo Nix Jr. He's the man. He can make it happen out there. A lot of people think he could contend for the Heisman, but I still think they're going to lose a few games. They've also got a tough schedule. 9-3 is where I've got them coming in at 4th. And at 5th, I have the Oregon State Beavers. There is some question marks here. That's DJU is going to be the quarterback at Oregon State next year. He's going to have to shit or get off the pot. And we'll see how that goes. If he doesn't pan out, then they're not going to be 9-3. Yeah, but I think if he go ahead.
He did just get announced as a starter too. They made it official.
Yeah. So I mean, if he is a little bit better than he was, I think they've got a shot at having a decent season.
Right.
I've got UCLA coming in 6th. Last I heard, and I've got him at 8-4. Last I heard, Ethan Garbers, redshirt junior, was going to be the quarterback. They do have Dante Moore, the freshman that they're looking at. He will probably, if this Ethan Garbers guy doesn't do that well or isn't really up to snuff, this Dante Moore will probably be rocking by the middle of the year because he's a very highly thought of freshman quarterback. I've got Arizona next at 6-6. They got Jaden DeLara is their quarterback. Where did he come from? He was a transfer. I can't remember where he came from.
Washington State, I think.
Okay. All right. So he's their QB. They're middle of the pack. We're starting to get into like whatever. It's Pac-12 and bottom end. California, I've got it 4-8. At 8th, I've got Washington State at 9th at 4-8. I got Deion's Buffaloes at 3-9. Arizona State at 3-9, and Stanford Cardinal at 3-9. I'll be honest with you. I'm going to change the Stanford Cardinal from 3-9 to 2-10, just for the record, just so you know. So because that team's a train wreck. So, but that's where I have the Pac-12. Obviously, this is the conference that everyone's talking about in terms of the quarterbacks. With Penix, Caleb Williams, Cameron Rising, Bo Nix. I mean, they're pretty pumped up about the quarterbacks here. And Arizona State's going to start the kid that came through our places during recruiting, Rashada. They've announced him as the starter for Arizona State, Jaden Rashada. Yeah. So they're like, we're going to just give it a shot, see how it goes, and
throw him to the wolves.
Yeah. So we shall see.
So
that's how I see Pac-12. Go ahead.
So I know you said you got USC or Washington beating USC. Well, how do you see the rematch and the championship going? Is it still Washington over USC?
Absolutely Washington.
So
Yeah.
twice over him?
Yeah.
Damn. Okay. I'm with you, sort of. Those are my top two teams. Also, I got USC at 11-1, so I do have them beating Washington in the regular season, and then I have Washington at 11-1 as well, with the one loss being to USC. USC's one loss, for the record, I have them losing at Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame is going to trip them up.
I say that's a really good possibility, and that could put them to 2 losses in my book. But go ahead. Yeah,
Gotcha.
I'm with you. Totally agree.
Third, I got Utah 9-3. UCLA, I got 9-3 as well. I'm really interested to see what Dante Moore does. Like you said, see how soon Chip Kelly kind of makes the move to him. I mean, that kid's got an immense amount of talent. Oregon and your favorite QB once again, Bo Nix. I got them at 8-4. They got a pretty tough schedule. They play kind of some of the big boys in that conference this year. Arizona, I got them at 7-5. I love Jed Fish, the coach there. I love his philosophy. I love what he's about. He likes to take chances, but he's also kind of no bullshit. Brings in guys that want to play and fit his system really well. He's got a great eye. So I got Arizona kind of making some moves, 7-5, and they could upset some people this year, I think. Washington State, I have them at 7-5 underneath. I think Cameron Ward coming back is going to be really big for them. That dude's dynamic. He's going to put up some big numbers this year, I think. And again, I think Washington State has the ability to kind of sneak some games out against some big-time teams. This is the one, Dave. I got Colorado at 6-6. I think Dion. I think Dion's gonna have them bowl eligible.
We might need to make a side bet on that one too.
I think they're gonna be bowl eligible. I went back and forth with it a lot through the offseason, but the more and more that I looked at just the talent that he was able to acquire and the amount of transfers and the amount of starters and things along those lines. I mean, he completely revamped that team. So as long as he can keep them together, that's going to be the hardest part, because you got a bunch of dudes who want to be the guy, and are they going to be able to fit and mold together when shit hits the fan, or are they going to be pointing fingers and causing problems? And that's what I want to see. If they're able to kind of come together a little bit and get through it together, I think 6-6 all day. I mean, they have talent on that team. There's no doubt about it. It's just going to be a matter of if they can bring it in mentally, I think. So as much as I wanted to say that, they were going to win 3-4 games and not get it done, I mean, he brought in some ballers. So I think they are going to get bowl eligible, and it's going to get some traction for next year. I think that recruiting class is going to see some key guys go to it. Next, I
think Shedeur Sanders is going to be have issues in playing big boy football. So that's going to be a big problem for them. I think between that and the fact that, I mean, there are only 15 players from this team from last year. I just think the first year is hard no matter what. I saw it at Florida. Hell, I've seen it every Florida, as many we go through coaches every 3 years. So that first year is just tough no matter what. And then they're building this kid up to be something that I don't think he is, and it's going to be unfortunate. That's my opinion. That's why I've got him at 3-9. But go ahead.
Right. I think Sanders has the tools, and I mean, he's throwing to Travis Hunter, who's an absolute monster. So I think they're going to have a shot. Granted, they do play some tough teams. I mean, they got Oregon on the road, USC, UCLA on the road, TCU. Utah on the road, TCU. That's five games right there that probably are going to be losses. So it's an uphill thing. But again, in football, if you can get players to play for the guy next to him, things happen. So I think if anybody's able to do that, it's going to be Dion in his first year. So we'll see what happens. But that's kind of that's kind of where I see. But that's also kind of the ceiling that I see. Is at 6-6, and they're not going to go 8 wins, 10 wins. I'd be really, really surprised. Next, I got Oregon State at 6-6. I think, unfortunately, DJ is who DJ is, and Oregon State, again, one of those teams. They pulled a tough card in the schedule, and the Pac-12 has some teams this year that are going to contend for the playoff spot. So, unfortunately, they're going to kind of take a little bit of a step back. Arizona State, I got it 4-8. I think they are still a little bit of a ways away. California, I got them at 3-9. Stanford, I got 2-10, just like you, rounding out the bottom.
All right. Very good. So that is the left coast. Let's move to the new and improved Big 12. All right. We have now added to the Big 12 BYU, Houston, Cincinnati, and UCF to the new Big 12.